Hi everyone, welcome to Better at Business in the Commerce faculty at UCT. My name is Gulam Modak. I am joined by three colleagues who you saw but who have disappeared slightly off the screen, but the Dean of the Faculty of Commerce, Linda Ronnie, the Deputy Dean Designate, Professor Ulrika Ribbett, and the head of our Education Development Unit, Mr. Daniel Manene. We're also joined by colleagues from the Faculty Office, our Faculty Office Manager, Musa, our Undergraduate Officer, Lindiwe, and Sherry, who is in the Education Development Unit. But welcome to the Commerce faculty. This is the team who's going to be with you for the next while. We've split the presentation into two parts effectively, or the session at least into two parts. There's a bit of a presentation, and then we will also give you some time to be able to ask some questions. But in the meantime, we will also, using the chat box, allow you to be able to post questions, and I'm the moderator today as well. I'll be taking a look at some of those questions and either answer them in the chat or later in the Q&A session, the entire team will deal with those questions in the live session. But for now, it's my pleasure to hand over to our Dean, Professor Linda Ronnie. Linda, over to you.
Thank you so much, Gulam, and welcome everyone. I think the most interesting thing about this virtual session is that all of you are applicants to the Commerce faculty, so you are already looking forward to being with us. I hope you're as excited as we are about the coming year. So let me start off by talking a little bit about what's exciting about commerce. Why study here? So the first, of course, is academic excellence. We pride ourselves on the programs that we run. They are exceptionally well thought of within the world of work, where hopefully you'll end up. We also underpin that academic excellence by having the most fabulous, supportive lecturers and administrative support staff that you could find. So coming into our environment, you'll immediately feel a sense of being welcomed and supported. Some of the other issues that you might want to think about in terms of why commerce and why UCT commerce is that our lecturers are also involved in groundbreaking research. So this is fantastic, isn't it? Because you're going to be on the receiving end of some really fantastic learning. Some small example of that, I would say, are in two particular departments, although there are across others, but two that spring immediately to mind are our School of Economics and Information Systems. So remember, I was talking a bit about the fantastic staff we have, and that links absolutely to the innovative teaching methods that we use. We are a faculty that is extremely large, and our first year class is extremely big. So we have to think about different ways that we have to share the knowledge with you. One of the ways that we do that is we use the tutor system. So you might be in a large class with your lecturer, but then that would be followed up by your tutor and your little group with them, where you might feel a little more comfortable asking questions and being taken through various exercises. So again, another form of academic support. The fourth thing that we're really quite proud of is that we are quite flexible in terms of our degrees. Soon, Ulrika will talk to you about which those are and the various specialities that you could choose. But I will say that when one comes into university, one often isn't out where one wants, and that is perfectly natural. So our programs allow you to move between them, meeting the requirements, of course, but move between them as you get to know the various subjects and get to really enjoy some of them. The other definite output in terms of studying at Commerce is our focus on personal development. It isn't just you as a student in terms of learning about economics or learning about marketing or organizational psychology. It's about.
Can you take over?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. I think our Dean has just frozen, so I'm going to take over from her. My name is Ulrike Rivet, and I'm going to be the undergraduate dean for you from 2021 onwards. So I'm going to be the person that speaks to you and is also available for you for advice. The Dean just spoke about the personal development and career choices. As we said, it is really important to recognize that our degrees have a high level of flexibility, but it's also based on understanding how you personally develop and what choices you want to take. Overall, the notion of academic development and what academic development means for you is also very important, and Daniel Monene will speak to you in a bit more detail around that. If you can just go to slide 3, then I can talk you through some of the details. Okay. So as the Dean highlighted, there are a number of reasons to join Commerce at UCT, but choosing a degree program can be very daunting, and it is therefore really important that you recognize that you are building a career with your degree. And all of our degree programs are designed in such a way that they will provide you with a solid foundation to start your journey on. There are 2 main degree options in the undergraduate program in the Commerce faculty that you have a choice on. They are the Bachelor of Commerce degree, or short called BCom, and the Bachelor of Business Science degree, or BBuSci. If you're accepted to the Commerce faculty, you can register for either of the degrees. The Bachelor of Commerce is a 3-year degree that is focused on on 1 or 2 specific disciplines, and I will explain these disciplines just now. And the Bachelor of Business Science is a 4-year degree that takes not only longer to complete, but it also includes a variety of subjects and elective subjects that provide you with the foundation of business science. So business science literally means the science of business, and it speaks to aspects such as management, human resources, and a variety of other things. To give you a very simple example, if you choose a BCom degree, you will do 3 years specializing in a particular field that you choose. But you would, for example, not be exposed to broader business subjects such as people management or business practice. If you do the business science degree, on the other hand, you will spend 4 years, and subjects such as people management will become more important. Now, let's talk about the 11 disciplines within the Commerce faculty. So if you look at these disciplines, and some of you might have had the opportunity already to look on the websites through these different departments and disciplines, but these are the 11 disciplines that you would find within the Commerce faculty and that you can choose for your degree. Most of you will have heard about accounting in school already. Important to know is that you don't need to do accounting in school to be accepted into the UCT accounting degree. Accounting forms the basis of all business, and without accounting, there are literally no financial transactions. Studying accounting at university means that you will understand aspects such as financial decision-making, financial reporting, management accounting, auditing, and corporate governance. If you look at the field of actuarial science, that is really disciplines where we use statistical techniques to solve financial and business problems. Actuaries are people who assist us in understanding risk and how to evaluate the future. They work mostly in fields such as insurance, investment, banking, and risk management. And if you're a person who likes numbers and statistics, this is the perfect degree for you. But please be aware that the entrance requirements to this degree are different from the rest. Quantitative finance is very closely linked to actuarial science, and is a new field that is focused on developing skills in the complex financial service industry. It is a focus on finance and investment, and here you would work towards a career in investment banking, asset management, and financial economics. Economics focuses on how consumers, firms, and markets operate. As an economist, you understand the relationship between individuals, society, business, and the global economy. Economics is closely related to social sciences and interrogates aspects such as poverty, global trade, and political environments. While some of you might have taken economics at school, economics at university is very different. You will be equipped with the relevant skills in mathematics and statistics to understand economic phenomena that impact people, countries, and continents. Finance is the discipline where you get to understand how money can be used in the most economical and effective way to make a business or organization and country work. Whilst a field like economics gives you an understanding of the impact of financial decisions, the field of finance teaches you how to make financial decisions in the first place. Finance requires you to work with many disciplines, and you will also see that many of our degrees have an option of combining the field of finance with a number of other disciplines. For example, finance and accounting, or finance and information systems. Information systems and computer science are two disciplines that are closely related. If you use WhatsApp, Netflix, or if you have drawn money on an ATM, you have used information systems and computer science products. Computer science is the field where you learn to use algorithms to translate the problems in the world into a computer language. Information systems is, on the other hand, the disciplines where you learn how people use computers and how we should design them to make them work better for you. As a simple example, the design of WhatsApp, how you use it, what features you can add, the fact that you can insert a smiley, is the work of people in information system. The computer scientist would be the one translating that into algorithms that actually make the sending of messages possible. Both of these fields have become crucial to the functioning of the global world, and that is also one of the reasons why every student in commerce would do a course in information systems. Law, very clearly, what would business be without law? You all have heard about global trade agreements, contracts, and laws that form the basis of many of our commercial engagements. From your mobile phone contract all the way to defining global relationships, the legal profession is deeply embedded into our career options. Management studies is the field that connects a number of different disciplines, and the two I mentioned here is organizational psychology and marketing. These disciplines remain core to the functioning of every organization. They are very well established and exciting career opportunities. A commerce degree in statistical sciences sets you up for the exciting career choice of a data scientist. Data science is a growing field that has become more and more important. Organizations need data to make decisions. We use computers and information systems to collect such data, and then we need data scientists to analyze the data to understand trends, identify new marketing strategies, and assess how our organization is performing. With a degree in statistical sciences, you are set up to work in any global organization. And it is really important that you again enjoy numbers and statistics. Within the Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Business Sciences, you are also able to combine some of these disciplines. This is often referred to in other universities as well as a so-called double major. You don't need to make the decision regarding the disciplines or the combination of these disciplines now. There will be time for discussion with student advisors when you join us in 2021 after the orientation. But we would like you to spend some time understanding the different disciplines. And there's a video you can look at on our website, and you are also welcome to contact us should you have any questions regarding these options. Even if you have already decided to do your degree in one of the disciplines I mentioned, use the time between now and joining us to find out about the other disciplines as well. If you can go to the next slide, please. Independent of the degree choices you make, there are a couple of courses you will take as part of your degree journey in order to prepare you appropriate for the various environments you may be working in. All of you will take fundamental courses in maths and statistics. This is becoming more important in today's world, where data sciences, big data, and data analytics form part of the decision-making in all organizations around us. For that reason, you will also be taking part in a course in information system that will provide you with the necessary background to understand how technology facilitates today's business world. You will also be taking part in courses in the law faculty in order to get a foundation what laws are relevant in the context of business, but also organization and governments in general. Additionally, there will be courses for everyone in economics, accounting, and management, as well as business ethics. Besides offering you with a solid foundation in the commercial environment, these courses also allow you to switch between the different disciplines should you want to do that after the first semester of the first year. Often you only find out what the different fields are really all about once you join us at UCT, and you may want to change. This flexibility exists within the faculty and allows you to find your strengths without having to finalize all aspects now. Before I hand over to my colleague to discuss the augmented programs, I would like to quickly speak about the impact of COVID and how that will affect you potentially in 2021. As you know, and you also experienced, the COVID pandemic has resulted in all of us having to shift our environment. This has also impacted how we teach at UCT. We are currently busy planning our orientation, registration, and the teaching environment for 2021. In order to provide you with details regarding this, we will be in touch and guide you through the process. It is important that you check your emails regularly to keep updated with any information we will send. You are also welcome to contact us should you have any queries regarding COVID specifically. Thank you very much. I'm now handing over to my colleague, Daniel Munene. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulrika, and thank you, Linda, also. So my name is Daniel Munene, and I'm the head of the unit that is called Education Development Unit in the Commerce faculty. And the Education Development Unit is the home of what we call the academic development programs that we run in the faculty. And these academic development programs, the main aim or what they seek to address is the university's policy of promoting both equity and excellence, because as we all know, UCT aims to always ensure that not only do we have excellence in everything that we do, academic or otherwise, but we also are transformed and we show that we also recognize where our country is at. So the academic development programs also seek to achieve two main objectives or two twin goals. And these goals I call access and success. So we aim at opening up access to more students to come to UCT and the Commerce faculty specifically. But not only that, we also aim at giving them the tools that will enable them to succeed once they come to UCT. And specifically, we are also very clear that because we know the landscape we're operating in and we know where South Africa is coming from, the academic development programs are chiefly aimed for Black South African students as legislated by our policy. And the kind of things that we have would make sure that we support all the students that come into this program to ensure that they achieve success once they come to UCT. So what you have on your screens would be a slide that talks to the kind of support that we offer when students get here. One of the things that we know that is or affects students immediately they come to the university is just that sense of transitioning into higher education. because you're coming from a space where your classes and all your activities were mostly controlled and you had a schedule. But at university, there's a newfound freedom, but also you've got to navigate the terrain on your own. So what we do is, the first thing that we do is we've got excellent teaching, especially at our first year, where we have smaller classes that ensure that all the students who come to these programs get the best sense of community, but also get the best teaching at first year. Now, this does not mean that our other students in mainstream don't get this, because what happens is, whatever we try in the education development unit that brings out the best practice, we also share it with our mainstream faculty. And most of our practice has actually been disseminated across the faculty to ensure that we give the best to all our students. Additionally, because as I said, when you come to university, what also hits you immediately you get here is how large the institution is. Most students would have been working in smaller classes of 20, 30 or 40 students per class. And then you come to a university where your lecture theaters will have, if you're lucky, the smaller classes would have 100 students, but you go up to 200, 300, 400, and in certain courses, we might even have 1,000 students enrolled for their courses. So that means that very soon you get lost in this mass critical. And so we always like having, at least for the students who come from our communities, which historically would not be where UCT would draw its students, to get to form a sense of community, to also navigate into this transition a lot more easily. And therefore, by having smaller classes, by starting to form a sense of community, they get to comfortably navigate into this territory and transition into higher education studies much easier. There's also a sense of engagement where we have a support structure from senior students who've gone through our programs and therefore become what we call mentors for our incoming class. So in 2021, all our first years who come to the EDU will all get a mentor, and a mentor would be a student who's walked this path before you and who also see the challenges that you might encounter, share their stories with you, but also help you navigate some of the challenges you might encounter. Some of the challenges will be absolutely beautiful, but some students for the first time will also encounter what it is to be studying on their own, self-study, dealing with concepts that might not be as easy to navigate through. But because we know you're all excellent, by the time you come to UCT, you've performed very well indeed, then the mentors will ensure that they help you navigate any crisis that you come across. The EDU will also offer you a lot of leadership opportunities. Within the Commerce faculty, we have our own student council. Within the EDU, we have our own EDU leadership society. And within the university, we have a huge structure called the SRC. Now, historically, the EDU has been able, through getting students to feel comfortable at UCT, produce excellent leaders, not only for the faculty, but also for the university. And there's a track record, and when you come here, you'll get to see where our students have participated in shedding very positive leadership for the university. As I said, we also promote equity and excellence, but also we are very careful to ensure that the education that you get at UCT is similar to everyone else. So when you come to the education development program, oftentimes people ask, will I get a different degree? And the question is, no, you'll get the same degree like every other student will get when they come to UCT. The only thing is that you'll be getting extra support that will help you assert your confidence, assert your identity, and feel at home once you come to UCT. If we move to the next slide, I'll show you the kind of offering we have in terms of our degrees. So as Ulrika very well articulated, we've got what we call the BCom programs, and we have what we call the business science degrees. And both these degrees are done, if you do a BCom degree, the regular track or mainstream students would take this degree in 3 years, and for a business science degree, you'd be able to complete this degree in 4 years. So in the academic development program, as I said, you'll get extra support, but a large majority of our students will actually be in what we call the augmented programs, where they get additional support, but they still do the degree in the normal time. So a lot of our students will be able to do their degree in 3 years if they're doing a BCom, and another huge majority will also be able to do their degree in 4 years. So as I mentioned, you will be doing the same degree, only that you'll get the extra support, because at first year especially, we'll put you in smaller classes so that you engage with your teachers a lot more intimately. You'll get the mentorship that I talked about. You'll get extra support in terms of infrastructure. Every of our first year students gets a tablet, in addition to the laptop that you might be able to get from the university through your various funders or through the university support structures that we have. You can also do your actuarial science degree either through the BCom track or the business science track, and on both those degrees you'll be able to do them on record time if you're on the augmented programs. So can move to the next slide. And then, as I said, what we also like to ensure is that if a student comes and the pace is overwhelming, because what we also would like for students to do is move at their own pace, run at your own race, because oftentimes if you try and run with someone else's pace, you might get overwhelmed. So we also do allow students to do what we call the extended programs. And in the extended programs, simply put, you are able to add 1 year to your degree qualification by spreading your workload evenly. So instead of doing your BCom in 3 years, you'll be able to do your BCom in 4 years. And for the business science, you'll be able to do it in 5 years. So all the extended program ensures is that you've got extra time on your tasks, so that if you need a little more time to go through your degree, you will still get the same qualification. You will get the same distinction, but if you need extra time to do your degree, we give provision for that. Why this is important is you're able to learn at your own pace and get the best out of this educational process. And that is what we do at the EDU. Okay, over to you, Ulrika.
Okay, so one of the questions you might be asking yourself at this point is, which is the best degree option? Is it the BCom or is it the B.Sci? There is no best degree. There is none. There's just the best one for you. And we are quite clear about this. It's got to be something that interests you. So the key for us, and remember, all of us have really spoken to you about the flexibility that the Commerce faculty brings. The key for us is that you graduate. And who graduates? Happy students graduate. Interested students graduate. So you've got to find something that grabs you, a topic that grabs you, courses that grab you, and that will make your experience of learning a far more fruitful one. So, as Ulrika said to you earlier, you don't have to choose now. During first year, you have an opportunity to get to know the different courses. You'll get to know the different options that are available to you as a result of doing those courses, and you can then decide which route you're going to follow. So, hopefully you're thinking about things now, and you're thinking about looking forward to the experience here at the UCT Commerce faculty. We're certainly looking forward to having you as our students. Of course, there's just a little matter before you get to us, and that's right, it's your matric exams. So we're definitely wishing you all of the very best with those. We're going to take some questions now, but of course, you may go to our website, the details of which are available on the next slide, or you may send an email to the email address also available on the next slide. Thank you, Kulam. I'll hand back to you so you can manage the questions.
Hi, thanks, Linda. Yeah, so there are a few questions. Some I've responded to, but maybe just for the sort of bigger macro one. So the one is, due to the current COVID situation and international border closures, what happens to RSA students who are accepted for commerce courses but are still outside? Will they be able to register from abroad online and start online classes? Thanks. So maybe Linda, you want to just, are you able to talk about the start a bit of next year, perhaps?
Yes, I was actually going to hand over to our faculty manager for that, Ghulam. Musa, maybe you can speak to that a little more directly. Okay, Ghulam, I'm handing it back to you then.
Okay, maybe Musa's having some connectivity issues. Okay, so this is what Musa says. Yes, for now, we'll be guided by the Department of Home Affairs, but we have plans. The university does have some plans in place for moving things online at the start of the year, including online registration. Next question. There are lots of questions for the accountants, so maybe I've tried to respond to some of those, but I'll also perhaps answer those now. Okay, so there's one, the first question is, after my first year of BCom, Financial Accounting, can I transfer to the second year of BBus Finance with Accounting? So as Ulrika spoke about, I mean, there is lots of flexibility to be able to move between programs. So the answer is yes, but it would depend. In that second semester of first year, you need to make sure that you're picking up the additional maths course. So the BuzzSci students do more maths in the first year than the BCom students. So again, I mean, my advice to a student would be to, if you're into the BCom, see how that first semester goes, and then you'll have a sense by the start of second semester whether you pick up that additional course. And then by the end of first year, you should be set up for the business science. Another question. If I do not get accepted into actuarial science due to a slightly lower grade required, but could I still do a course from BCom if I have not directly applied for it but have the grades? So this is, I guess, for students if they're applying for actuarial science but haven't got into actuarial science, would they be able to get into, say, BCom?
I'm sure Musa will be able to, oh, Ulrika, no, happy for you to reply then.
Yes, thank you. So yes, that's definitely a possibility. So I think that's very important, and we will definitely also engage with you. So if there's students that also want to see what their options are, what other options they have, actuarial science has higher entrance requirements than the rest of the degree program. So again, there are specific details in the prospectus, and I'm very happy to forward that if you require information on that. For computer science, there's also a higher maths requirement, but for most of the other degrees, it's all very much the generic commerce entrance requirements.
Okay, maybe Ulrika, there's a flip question to that as well. So this is going the other way. So a student says, if I have an APS of 62 after the first year of uni, can I switch from BCom to actuarial science? So do you have views on that?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so I think everything is possible. The challenge is that it will add a substantial amount of time to your year because you will have missed out on courses that you wouldn't have done in a generic BCom. So if you're planning to do this, you need to just be aware that you actually might have to repeat at least one semester, if not potentially a whole year, because you wouldn't have done the courses that the actuarial science students are doing. So again, this requires some planning. What I would encourage everyone right now is to really focus on your matric, to do incredibly well so that you have the marks to get into the degree program you would like to get into. And if something changes, then we can always discuss that when we start in February next year, when we know the matric results, and we can basically then discuss with each one of you exactly what the options are.
Another question is, can you take elective subjects if they don't clash with your timetable?
Yes, most certainly. Most certainly you can take elective subjects. The one thing to recognize is our degree program is quite full, so you will actually have a very busy week. There's often little spare time, so we usually encourage students to take their electives in the second year and the third year when you're far more comfortable with the degree, with the university environment. So we usually are not supporting students to take electives immediately from year one. So wait a little bit, get settled into UCT, and then choose your electives from year 2 onwards.
Question again about actuarial science and statistics. would you advise taking a double degree in both actuarial science and statistics, since they are so closely related but can provide a wider range of opportunities than one degree?
So I think the actuarial science degree is quite strongly focused on statistics. So I don't think there's any space for doing a double major kind of actuarial science and statistics. There are certainly opportunities, but I think it is really important to recognize that with an actuarial science degree, you usually work in a slightly different field than with statistical sciences. So I would probably recommend, if you're not completely sure, to look into a statistical science degree. But there isn't going to be the possibility of combining the two, because the workload in each one of these degree programs is too much, and there's just not enough time in a day.
Another question about changes in the degree. So this is if I decide at the end of third year that I want to change from BCom to BBuSci, will I be allowed to do so?
Again, that's not going to be possible at the end of third year, for the simple reason that you would have missed out on the subjects that would make this Bachelor of Business Science. That they basically define the business science component. What you can do after your third year is you can follow up with an honors degree, which would then be a BCom honors, which you can do in many different disciplines. So you have quite a lot of opportunity there to go and find a different discipline that you then do your honors degree in, and that would then give you the broader perspective. But it's not possible at the end of third year to move into a business science degree.
Okay, this is a question about funding, and it's NSFAS funding for postgrad. So Linda, maybe you'll be able to answer this one. I want to choose a BCom Law or the BCom LLB. Upon entering commerce, then I do register for the law component. And after 3 years of commerce, will NSFAS continue to sponsor the 2 years of LLB? And will I complete with 2 degrees? Linda, are you able to answer that one, or?
Yes. Okay. As far as I understand it, sorry, Kulam, I didn't realize you were.
Sorry.
As far as I understand it, yes, that is so, as long as it's part of the degree journey. Yes.
Okay, and then there's another NSFAS kind of question which I will answer, which is about accounting. Does NSFAS fund for the BCom honors alongside the PGDA? So the PGDA is funded by NSFAS, but not the BCom honors. So I think students just need to think about that. I'll see there are some more questions that are coming through. There are lots of questions about the actuarial exemptions, but I have responded to that in the chat rather than bring that live. Maybe this is a question that typically comes up often. Is the business science better than the BCom? Ulrika, do you want to?
Yes, I can answer that. So I think there's a profound difference between these 2 degrees. The business science is really very, very broad. Both of the degrees, if you look at probably competitive is a BCom honors and a BBuSci. That's really the connection. So the BCom is a very strongly focused in one specific field degree. So you will definitely find work. None of our students struggle to find work with a BCom. And also they're often recognized for their expertise knowledge. So if you were to say, I take a BCom information systems or a BCom information systems and computer science, every company knows what you're good at, and they will employ you for that. If you are a business science student who has done computer science and information systems, for example, then it would be very clear that you have more of the other aspects of a person employed in a company as well. You would understand, for example, people management, which the BCom person would not have done. That doesn't mean that either one of them is better or worse. I think it's a question of understanding the differences. If you're not completely sure what you want to do, then we can certainly discuss and give some more detail on that. Also, if you feel I should do 3 years and then see what happens next, then I would definitely suggest a BCom and then to see if you can get into an honors. And that would then be also offering the opportunity to go a bit broader if you so want to. But for all of the three options, so BCom, BCom Honors, BBSI, we engage with a lot of organizations and companies. There's not a single one of them that is worse or better. People recognize it for the different skills you will be equipped with.
Thanks, Ulrika. Maybe
if I can just add to the earlier query about the NSFAS funding for the law option. Sure. So the NSFAS funding for law degrees have changed, and we should advise the student to go directly to the law faculty to ascertain exactly what is being offered at this time.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Linda. Then Ulrika, maybe there's some admin questions, which in terms of the application, which maybe I'm going to lump them all together, then you can give students just a general advice. So this is queries about students who are saying they've completed the application, but perhaps they think they made an error. How can they correct that? Is there a possibility to be able to do that?
I think for that kind of case, it would be best to actually write us an email to that email address that we published, the com-faculty@uct.ac.za, so which is also on the screen. I think it's really important to let us know what that error would have been, so that we can assist with regards to that. Some of the documentation is also just to highlight, when you go onto the system, you should be able to make changes to your telephone number and things like that, if that was the error. But if it's something more intricate, then I would really encourage you to please write to us so that we can pick it up with you and assist you and guide you where to go.
Let me just try and find some more questions here. Maybe this is again the question around electives, which is coming up often. So there's a question here around, I mean, you spoke about the electives earlier. Are students able to take electives outside of the faculty?
Yes, so students are certainly able to take electives outside of the faculty. Sometimes what we need to distinguish is if these courses, the electives that you're taking, if they will contribute to your credits of the degree, or if these are electives that you do because you like to. So for example, certain additional courses might not add credits to your degree, but there might be something you would like to do to enrich your own development, and that's absolutely welcome. As I said, we usually try and balance that between your workload, what you can achieve, and the additional things, but we obviously welcome if people take up additional electives.
There's a question, I mean, this is a student maybe wanting to transfer into the faculty. So if a student's applied for BSOC in PPE, and they maybe want to change to BCom PPE. So I guess two questions, maybe before registration, and then perhaps also students who perhaps apply to another faculty and then want to transfer to commerce later on, I guess.
So I think what's important to recognize is if you want to come into commerce, you obviously have to have certain requirements fulfilled, such as maths, which you might not have to have fulfilled if you join the humanities faculty and you would go through a BSOC. So Bachelor of Social Sciences really requires you can usually enter that with the maths literacy. However, that wouldn't allow you to come into the commerce faculty. If you want to do the Bachelor of Soc Science, you have all the maths requirements and entrance requirements for the commerce faculty, then it's certainly possible to do a transfer. Also, what's possible is if you don't have the maths requirements, then you can always come and join us by basically catching up on the maths that you missed in matric and catching that up through a university course or through some of the maths courses offered on campus, and you can then come and join the commerce faculty later. Again, the challenge here is that sometimes that might add a semester onto your career at UCT.
Okay, thanks. Maybe Daniel, I've got two questions for you around the academic development. So the first question is, how is entrance into the EDU program determined? And then the second one is, can foreigners Are foreigners able to apply for the extended degrees?
Okay, thank you, Gulam. So the entrance requirements are published in our prospectus, and briefly, they are similar to what we'd have in mainstream because, as I said, the students have a choice to do what we call the augmented program or the extended program. So for the students who get onto the augmented program, the degree requirements or the entrance requirements would be similar in terms of the matric points that they need to come to UCT. And that's why I said most of our students in these programs would have, have met the requirements to come to UCT. But additionally, we also make provision for a small cohort who we through our internal processes screen and see to check because if you missed the matric points marginally, and it's a very small margin, it's a less than 1 percentage point. If you missed the matric points marginally, but we can identify through some of the courses you've done. You did an extra quantitative course, physics, for instance, and in that you had distinctions all through. You had previous distinctions in other courses. So we also look at any student who marginally missed the mainstream points, but we can definitely identify academic potential. We'd also make those students an offer. And so these students then would possibly first start on the extended curriculum program. But as the dean has said, as Ulrika has mentioned, we are fairly flexible in the faculty so that even if you came into the extended program and within a year you're able to catch up or demonstrate that you're doing as well as every other student, then we are able to articulate you across to the augmented program. And similarly, if you're in the augmented program, which means you're doing the same regular track like every other student, and you feel that you want a little more time to pace your studies, to reduce your workload, then we are able to also move you across to the extended curriculum degree. So basically, Ulrika articulated it very well by saying your performance is what dictates where you end up. So do your best in your matric so that at least then you have the freedom of choice to any of these programs. In terms of international students, if you're in South Africa and you've got permanent residence, then we would be able to make provision for you to get into some of these programs. However, if you're international and you're not a permanent resident in South Africa, then we would not be able to enroll you directly. But having said that, all the support that we have in the program is available to all students, because all we do is we meet with our mainstream counterparts and we are able to put across all the support, be it the mentorships, be it the programs around transition into higher education. Those programs are available for all students because these are things that we're able to share with all our counterparts in the faculty.
Thanks, Daniel. Maybe another question, because it's followed on from that. I'm a South African citizen, however, I stay in Botswana. Do I fall into the redress system in my current place of residence is not South Africa?
Yes, you would, because as long as your citizenship is South African, and when you apply, the form would have specified or asked you, are you a South African citizen? We don't mind that your domicile right now is not in South Africa, but if you meet the requirements of being a South African, then you would be definitely able to apply to the academic development programs.
Thanks, Daniel. There's a question here, does the Bachelor of Business Science in Finance prepare you for a career in asset management and investment banking? And the answer would be yes, it does. I mean, it's obviously, I think there's a whole range of stuff that you'd be able to do with that finance major, but that's certainly one component of the options available to you. There's quite a few questions. I'm not sure we're going to get through all the questions today, but maybe you can try. And another question, for the business science, finance with accounting, can I graduate with 2 majors, and does it offer electives? Again, maybe because I'll answer this question. So the answer is yes. And I know that's one of the differences between the BCom financial accounting and the business science finance with accounting, is that the BCom allows 1 major, whereas the BizSci has got 2 majors. which is finance and then accounting. And as Ulrika has pointed out before, there may be scope to add electives into the programs, but I think and Ulrika spoke about this before as well, for actuarial science and for accounting, the curriculum is already very heavy. So it's probably the scope to add electives is very limited for students who want to go the actuarial science or the accounting routes. What else is here? Another question about the LLB. If a student wants to do the BSc degree with economics and law, could they then do the combined stream LLB afterwards? I mean, I think, yeah, Ulrika, are you gonna?
No, I think they can do that, Gulam. I'm just thinking about my knowledge of what's happening at the law faculty. But again, it will probably be pertinent for the student to just check with the law faculty in the first instance.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, so I think there's lots of questions around the LLB and the law, and students wanting to do either the BCom or the BSc, and the sort of dual majors, and whether the ones undergrad and postgrad. I mean, I think as the deans pointed out, all of those law postgrad options, it's best to refer all of those to the law faculty. I know when students are on the outside, you see UCT as one big thing, but we do operate as different faculties. So if you're going to do your undergrad in commerce and then your postgrad in law, you will transfer to the law faculty. So the law faculty will have to give you all the guidance as to what the options are at a postgrad level and what that would look like. I think it's also worthwhile pointing out that law does have additional requirements. So it's not just a matter of passing courses, but there are additional progression hurdles that need to be met within the law programs. Maybe a question, Ulrika, you won't be able to answer on, I guess, temporary acceptance or conditional acceptance. So the student says, I want to know if I received the email about admission, does this mean I got temporary acceptance? Maybe you could just give students some guidance as to what the conditional offers mean and how they will know that they've actually been accepted to UCT.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gulam. And that is obviously always a big question and concern. So what's really important is you have applied now, and so you will be given an offer when we have your final matric marks. That's really what is required. So the people who have been given an offer because of last year's matric, they would have been receiving a letter already, but otherwise you are waiting literally till we have your matric results. There won't be we might send you a letter saying that you have a high chance because of the marks you've received, but the reality is there is no confirmed offer until the day that the matric results have actually come out. And perhaps, I don't know if we have Musa online now, if she wants to say something to that as well. That's the faculty manager. I don't think we can hear her. Yeah. But also, if you have particular, Musa, are you there?
No.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so if you have particular questions regarding that, or if there's an email that is unclear to you, then please don't hesitate to write us an email and let us know. We can certainly respond to you. And then the other aspect is obviously that you can always log into the system and see what the status is that is currently linked to your to your registration number.
Yes, I think that just linked to that, I think it's very important to say that there is no formal acknowledgement from us when you accept the offer online. So this is something that is key for you to know. You can view it on your application portal that the offer is accepted. So it's a good idea to keep looking at your own application portal, because that's updated automatically. Thanks,
yeah, and I think perhaps also to add on that is that the conditional acceptance that you may get is when we are still waiting for the final marks. So if you receive a letter that states that there's a conditional acceptance, that actually means that the condition is that you will fulfill with your matric the relevant marks that we need. And then also just to say something as another thing, which we spoke earlier about the commerce law specialization. So if you want to get into commerce law, then you must have at the end of first year obtain a minimum of 63% to continue with law. That's just as a follow-on from the previous questions on the law. Thank you.
Thanks, Ulrika. Maybe a question about careers. So a student says, what are the career options in organizational psychology? And does anyone have the dean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so I mean, organizational psychology is a very important field, and it's really one of these fields where we see major developments also specifically in the research environment. And I think there are definitely more than enough careers out there. I don't know, Linda, if you want to also talk about that, since it is a field closely linked to your work. Linda, can you hear?
Yes, sorry, you were asking.
It was just saying what the career options are with regards to organizational psychology.
Oh yes, I mean a range of them. Obviously, I think it is a budding field, as Ulrika says. Certainly, almost all organizations now are having people in that with those degrees to provide employee support and employee wellness type programs. So that's fabulous. You can go into consulting. You can go into private practice and so on, which is, I think, really opens up a wide range of options. So whoever that applicant is, yeah, I'm keeping my eye on you.
Then maybe, Ulrika, this is some of those questions again about the acceptances. So if a student says, would I still be accepted if my grade 11 maths marks don't meet the requirements, but my matric marks have improved for the first term, as that is the only report to receive? So maybe it's again, when it's again advising students as to when will you make that final, what's the most important thing for them?
Yeah, so the most important thing is that we obviously look at you must have the right subjects. So that's already the case, that you have to have the mathematics and you have to have the English. And then the final choice is literally only at, on the last, so on the day the matric results get released. So we're currently not making any decisions, and I think that's really important to recognize. You don't have to worry right now. What's important is going to be your matric results. That's what will make it count. Everything else is just to say, okay, you fulfill the requirements of having the right subjects, but we're not making a decision on you joining or not joining. That will be the matric result.
Maybe here's a question about the majors. Please clarify the differences between majoring in economics versus finance and versus accounting.
All right, so that's quite broad. So I think, so you have then, you basically, if you major in accounting, you join the accounting speciality, so you will become an accountant, and Gulam could share some more on that, but I think it's really important that you recognize that these are three very different careers and very different degree options. You can obviously connect some of them. So as I said, accounting and finance, then you will be offered an opportunity to connect two of these important disciplines. But economics is really, broadly speaking, a very different career to an accountant. So if you major in accounting and you major in economics, you really come out as a different person. An economist is profoundly different to an accountant. I hope that answers the question. I'm not completely sure if that was what the person was trying to look for as an answer.
I mean, I think also, I mean, it's again a lot to take in today, and students will have the opportunity to ask many of these questions in the sort of orientation process at the start of next year, or even when term starts, to be able to work out the differences between the sort of subject areas. I see it's 5 o'clock now. I'm not sure if there's still a few questions, but maybe we can respond to those separately. But
I'm just going to, one more thing, if I may just say that, because I just had feedback here on the side from our administrative team, and thank you all for that, to just say that if your final matric marks meets the requirements, but you didn't get a conditional offer, you will then still get a firm offer. So even if your grade 11 marks are not good enough, you will get a firm offer if your matric marks are better. And also, if you would then have something like a deferred status. If you log into the system, you will see something that states deferred, which means basically we're waiting for that information, we're waiting for your matric marks to make the final decision. I hope that clarifies it. But please also, everybody on the platform who has questions regarding that, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Yeah, I see there's still more questions coming through around those conditional acceptances and all of that, which I guess is where students' minds are at. But I mean, we've got the slide up which shows the com faculty at uct.ac.za. We've answered as many questions as we could. There are a few that we haven't, but please do email and we'll be able to respond to that in the coming days. But I think that's it for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gulam.
Thank you, Gulam, and thank you all. See you in 2021.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in 2021.
Yeah.